The staffing process used by an employer depends on successful recruiting and selection efforts. However, new approaches are constantly evolving. Without significant attention to measurement, recruiting and selection can become just a set of necessary administrative functions. Consequently, companies must be innovative in their approach to recruiting so they get the best employees possible. Recruiting is the process of generating a pool of qualified applicants for jobs. One survey of employers found that almost half of hiring managers cited less qualified applicants as the biggest recruiting and hiring challenges. Given this concern, it's important to view recruiting broadly as a key part of staffing and not a collection of administrative and operational activities. It's important that recruiting be treated as part of strategic HR planning because it's a key mechanism for filling the positions necessary to produce organizational outcomes. Recruiting requires an employer to know the industry and where successfully recruited candidates come from, identify keys to success in the labor market, including competitors' recruitment efforts, cultivate relationships with sources of prospective employees, promote the company brand so the employer is known as a good place to work, and use recruiting metrics to measure the effectiveness of recruiting efforts. Recruiting decisions can identify not only the kinds and numbers of applicants, but how difficult recruiting efforts may be depending on the different types of jobs. In addition, effective recruiting focuses on discovering talent before it's needed. Learning some basics about these labor markets aids in understanding recruiting. Labor markets are the supply pool from which employers attract employees. Several means of identifying labor markets exist. One useful approach is to take a broad view of labor markets and then narrow them down to specific recruiting sources. The broadest labor market component and measure is the labor force population, which is made up of all individuals who are available for selection if all possible recruitment strategies are used. For organizations with operations in multiple countries, the labor force population can be much larger than that of a business operating in only one. The applicant population is a subset of the labor force population that's available for selection if a particular recruiting approach is used. The population can be broad or narrow depending on the jobs needing to be filled and the approaches used by the employer. For example, if a firm is recruiting highly specialized engineers for multiple geographic locations, the recruiting methods may involve a broad ranges of approaches and sources, such as contacting professional associations, attending conventions, utilizing general and specialized websites, using recruiting consulting firms, and offering recruitment incentives to existing employees. However, a smaller firm in a limited geographic location might limit its recruiting for management trainees to MBA graduates and other universities in the area. This recruiting method would result in a different group of applicants from those who might apply if the employer were to advertise these openings for management trainees on a local radio station, post a listing on internet job boards, or encourage current employee referrals and applications. The applicant pool consists of all persons who are actually evaluated for selection. Many factors can affect the size of the applicant pool, including the reputation of the organization and industry as a place to work, the screening efforts of the organization, job specifications, and the information available. It is useful to develop an applicant tracking system when considering the applicant pool. Using such a system can make the recruiting process more effective. For example, when the size of the applicant pool increases, recruiters can identify the most effective future employees for several jobs, not just current job openings, because there's a larger supply. All of this labor market process understanding helps us get to the best individual selected in our process. Recruiting strategies take into account a number of EEO and diversity considerations. As part of legal compliance in the recruiting process, organizations may work to reduce disparate impact or underrepresentation of protected class members compared to all labor markets utilized by the employer. If disparate impact exists, then the employer may need to make special efforts to persuade protected class individuals to apply for jobs. For employers with affirmative action programs, or AAPs, special ways to reduce disparate impact can be identified as goals listed in those plans. Also, many employers who emphasize internal recruiting should take steps to attract minority applicants externally if disparate impact exists in the current workforce. EEOC guidelines state that no direct or indirect statements of gender or age are permitted. These guidelines affect interviews, advertisements, and all other recruitment activities. The growth of the internet has led both employers and employees to use internet recruiting tools. Internet links, Web 2.0 sites, blogs, tweets, and other types of internet or web-based applications have become a vital part of recruiting. Of the many recruiting sites using special software, some common ones are internet job boards, professional career websites, employer websites, and social networking. Many internet job boards provide places for employers to post jobs or search for candidates. Job boards offer access to numerous candidates. Recruiters can use a single website to obtain search links to many other job sites. Applicants can also use these websites to do one match and then send resumes to all jobs they're interested. However, many of the individuals accessing these sites are job seekers who are not serious about changing jobs, but are checking out compensation levels and the availability and interest in their area. Despite such concerns, recruiters find general job boards useful for generating applicant responses. Many professional associations have employment links on their websites. Many organizations maintain specialized career or industry websites to focus on IT, telecommunications, engineering, medicine, and other areas. Use of these targeted websites may slightly limit recruiters' search time and efforts. Also, posting jobs on such websites is likely to target applicants specifically interested in a job field and may reduce the number of applicants or produce less qualified applicants as a consequence. Despite the popularity of job boards and association job sites, many employers have learned that their own website can be very effective and efficient when recruiting candidates and reinforcing employer brand. Employers include employment and career information on their websites under such headings as employment or careers. This is the place where recruiting, both internal and external, are often conducted. On many of these sites, job seekers are encouraged to email or complete online applications. Many individuals see the use of social media networking and websites as a key part of recruiting. A recent study found that job seekers are more active and engaged when organizations use social media well to communicate job-related information. For job posting efforts to be effective, especially with better performing employees, posting wording must be relevant and accurate. Also, the posting should be based on important characteristics needed of the job. People are likely to respond because of a job's reputation, coworkers and bosses, and the probability of important and interesting work. A reliable and important source of people to fill vacancies is composed of acquaintances, friends, and family members of current employees. Current employees can acquaint professional applicants with the advantages of a job and an organization. Word-of-mouth referrals and discussions can positively aid organizational attractiveness and lead to more applicants. Consideration of the following activities should be done to make recruiting effective. Resume mining, using software to get the best resumes from large databases. Applicant tracking, an approach that takes an applicant all the way from job listing to performance appraisal results. Employer career website, a convenient recruiting place on an employer's website where applicants can easily view and apply for jobs. Internal mobility, a system that tracks prospects in an organization and matches jobs when they come up with those internal candidates. Realistic job previews, a process that individuals can use to get the details about what a job really will be like. And responsive recruitment, whereby applicants receive timely responses. Recruiting effectiveness can be greatly increased by using evaluation data to target different applicant pools, broader labor markets, and change recruiting methods, improving internal handling and interviewing of applicants, and providing a great experience for the job seeker.